Now there will be a special note regarding the uniform circular motion. So in uniform circular motion, that is Ft will be 0. That is tangential force is 0 as tangential acceleration is 0. So work done will be 0 by tangential force. But in a non-uniform circular motion, Ft is not 0, and that's why it is mentioned Ft is not equal to 0. So work done by tangential force is also not 0. The rate of work done by net force in the uniform circular motion is equal to rate of work done by a tangential force. So when we speak the rate of doing work, that will be the power. So power is indicated P equal to derivative of W with respect to time. We can read it as rate of doing work. That is, d over dt will be rate of doing and W stands for work, or we can say derivative of work with respect to time. Now, power is dV over dt, dW over dt. Now we can write it as tangential force multiplied by velocity, because power is work over time and work is force into distance. Distance over time is velocity. So we have written Ft into V. Now Ft is kept as it is, and velocity can be written in terms of calculus, that is dx over dt. Therefore, P is calculated by formula dw over dt, or equal to Ft into V, equal to Ft multiplied by dx over dt. Now again we come towards the example, the kinetic energy of particle moving along a circle of radius r depends upon the distance covered s, as k is equal to as square, where a is constant. We have to find the force acting on the particle as a function of s. So when we wanted to find the force, force will be mass into acceleration, and acceleration is velocity by time. Velocity can be written as r omega. These facts are to be applied in the question, and if we wanted to find the kinetic energy, or we wanted to write the formula of kinetic energy, it should be half mv square. Now, according to the given problem, half mv square, that is kinetic energy, that is equal to as square, where a is constant. So from this function, we get the value of v. So first of all, we find v square, and v square will be 2as square over m. Then we take the square root, and we can get the value of velocity. The velocity will be s under the root 2a over m. So we mark this equation as 1. Now radial acceleration, that is acceleration along the radius, that will be v square over r, and v square of r is also known as centripetal acceleration. Now we can write this function as 2as square over mr. That is basically the value of a v will be taken as s into 2a over m according to equation number 1, and then we get the radial acceleration, or the acceleration along the radius. So what we have to do, we have to consider the value of v, take the square of the number and put for v square and simplify. The result comes to be 2as square over mr. Now furthermore, as AR, that is centripetal or radial acceleration. Radial means directed towards the center. It is dv over dt, that is derivative of velocity with respect to time, is called acceleration. Now dv over dt is written by using the implicit function, and it is dv over dt multiplied by ds over dt, and that is equal to dv over dt. So this type of function, where first of all we write derivative of velocity with respect to s, then we have multiplied it by derivative of s with respect to time. This type of function is called implicit function. We have to take the derivative of implicit function. So v is taken out common, and we have written dv over ds. Now from equation number 1, v is equal to s under the root 2a over m. That is what mentioned in equation number 1. We know that dv over ds will be, so we can do the derivative of this function. That is, we have written in equation number 1 and we get dV over ds as 2a over m square root. So we got the fourth equation also. Now substituting the values from equation 1 and equation 4 in equation 3. If we make this calculation, then by substitution and elimination, A is calculated to be AR square plus AT square under root. For AR and AT, we will compute the values which we have calculated earlier and we will reach to the conclusion. Substituting the values from equation 1 and equation 4 in equation 3, and the net result we got F is equal to MA, that is 2AS under the root 1 plus S over R whole square. This we have proved earlier. Next, now we come to the another question. A particle of mass m is moving in a circular path with a constant radius. So whenever any mass is moving in circular path, obviously it is under the influence of centripetal force. So in this question, we have to use the formula of the centripetal force, and it is given that constant radius such that its centripetal acceleration is varying with time. So centripetal acceleration is given in the question. It is k square RT square, where k is constant. We have to determine the power delivered to particle by force acting on it. Now what we do is, v is supposed to be the instantaneous velocity, that is velocity at that instant of time. The centripetal acceleration will be v square over r, and that is equal to v square over r, centripetal acceleration. For acceleration, it is k square RT square. So v square over r is acceleration. So we have put the value of acceleration from the given question. It should be k square RT square. Now we can write like this, that is v is equal to kRT. So now in circular motion, work done by centripetal force is always 0 because net displacement is 0. Work is done only by tangential force. Tangential acceleration AT, that is given by dV over dt, because acceleration is defined as the rate of change of velocity. So AT will be taken as dV over dt. Then we write d over dt, and then we put the value of v, that is found to be kRT. So if we take the derivative of kRT, k is taken out constant and derivative of RT. So it will be r into derivative of t. So the net function will become kr. Tangential force Ft will be mass into acceleration. Acceleration will be the tangential acceleration. Now acceleration we have already calculated, that is acceleration is kr and mass is m. So tangential force is mkr. Now power is work into distance, and work is force into distance into time. So for power, work over time, that is the definition of power, and from that we get the value Ft into V. Ft is already calculated to be mkr and V is kRT. So the net function for power will be mk square r square t. Now we come towards the centrifugal force. Now it is known as the pseudo force, means which is virtual force, not a real one. So that is pseudo force experienced by particle. So pseudo force experienced by particle performing uniform circular motion due to accelerated frame of reference. So this centrifugal force or the pseudo force will exist only in the accelerated frame of reference, which is along the radius and directed away from the center, called centrifugal force. So whenever the particle is moving, the force away from center but along the line of radius, that is called centrifugal force. Now there is certain explanations regarding the centrifugal forces. So centrifugal force is a pseudo force as it is experienced due to accelerated frame of reference. It is along the radius and away from the center. The centrifugal force is having the same magnitude as that of centripetal force, but its direction will be opposite. It is not due to reaction of centripetal force because without action, reaction is not possible, but centrifugal force can exist without centripetal force. Now we come towards the magnitude of the centrifugal force. The magnitude of centrifugal force is mv square over r, and v can be replaced by omega r or omega r, and v square will be omega square r square. One of the r will cancel out from the r in denominator. The pseudo force acts in a non-inertial frame, that is accelerated frame of reference, in which Newton's law of motion do not hold good. When a car is moving along the horizontal, takes a turn, then the person in the car experiences a push in the outward direction. The coin placed slightly away from the center of rotating gramophone disc slips towards the edge of the disc, that is because of the centripetal force. A cyclist moving with fast cycling moving fast along a curved road has to lean inwards to keep this balance. So when the cyclist is bending, its weight will be acting vertically down. Now, difference between the centripetal forces and centrifugal forces. The centripetal force is a real force, whereas centrifugal force is a pseudo force, that is imaginary, virtual. So centripetal force is always directed towards the center along radius, but centrifugal force is directed along the radius away from the center of the particle. Now, centripetal force is real force, whereas centrifugal force is a pseudo force, imaginary force. Now, according to the centripetal force, it arises in the internal or inertial frames of reference. When a satellite is revolving in circular orbit around the Earth, the centripetal force is provided by the gravitational force of attraction. Similarly, we can remember that when electron is revolving around the nucleus, the centripetal force is provided by the electrical force of attraction between the nucleus and electron. And centrifugal force will always be outward. But centrifugal force is directed along the radius away from the center of circle. It is a pseudo force. It arises only in non-inertial frame of reference or in a rotating frame of reference. For example, along a curved road, the passenger in the vehicle has a feeling of push in the outward direction. This push is due to centrifugal force.